Good morning, folks. Welcome to another video of Fix It Yourself Dummy. That's right, because we all were dummies until we figured out how to do something. And this is what I'm going to show you today. I'm going to try to help you save some time and some trouble of pulling your hair out of fixing the ignition system or the ignition problem on a Chevrolet 2500 pickup truck. This truck is a 6.0 2001 model with the V8, of course. It's a four-door extended cab, and it's a base model truck. There's nothing special about it. At one time, I want to guess it might have been a service vehicle. Four-wheel drive. Chevrolets are notorious about having a ignition starting problem. A lot of videos out there on the web about, oh, my Chevrolet truck, it won't start, or my Suburban is intermittent, and all this stuff. So this video is already escalated some of the teardown. The steering cap that goes over the steering column right here has already been taken off, and well, that just makes the video shorter. But I'm not going to show you how to take off the cap, because that's not going to be included on this video to save some time. I think if you're going to tackle this job, you should be able to pull two pieces of plastic off with a screwdriver. So, getting back to the point, what we tried to do to figure this starting problem out is this. When you would start the vehicle in the mornings, early, cold, the vehicle would start. It would be a hard, kind of strenuous start, I would say. It would, but yet it would start up. I mean, it had seemed like a good battery in it at the time, and it would start up just fine. Well, as the truck would run and get hot, as most trucks do, it would, if you pulled into a gas station, whatever, you know, and got some gas, shut it off, the truck would either not start at all, or it would be a really slow, sluggish start. So we're thinking, you know, so many videos out there with the ignition system and security feature going bad to key tumbler or key cylinder tumbler, all that stuff. I mean, it's out there. There's a lot of stuff. There's stuff on the relays, you know, the relays not, you know, giving signal to the starter, or your starter went bad. Well, we went through everything. There's absolutely nothing that we did not check and cover. And taking you back up to the ignition column right here, a lot of the issues that they have with these Chevrolets is a bad connection inside of this starting housing, and that could stem from several different things. This little unit right here that's built into the side of the ignition housing will sometimes whack out and give a false sense. Sometimes that would entail pulling the steering wheel and putting a whole new housing and different things on it, to where you could actually replace this housing, and you could still at that point use your same ignition cylinder and put it back in and hook your security up and so forth. But that wasn't the issue. We ruled that out quite quickly. And another issue that you'll see on the internet a lot is this wire right here shakes back and forth and all that stuff, and loses contact, and it'll throw a security feature up here sometimes that the security is not letting it start. Sometimes that problem will let it start at least for a second, and it will shut itself off immediately. So it's an indication that, hey, you know, it's probably this, or, you know, not getting a good signal, or whatever goes on in there. I tried to wiggle this, reset it. I even put the little cut-off zip tie tab down in the bottom, or in the side, and gave it a little, you know, snugness to assure it was making contact. That didn't help. I pulled, you know, the little cylinder out, the ignition cylinder, sprayed it off with contact cleaner. You know, I did everything up here. The bottom, we even put in a whole new harness, It wasn't extremely a big cost, but yet this is your actual ignition switch that goes on the truck. This is what's happening when you turn the cylinder with your key. Is you're turning this little box to certain little positions inside of that are making connection at certain times to what it needs to in order to send the signal out to start. So this wiring fits up in the bottom right in here, and then actually the bottom of this right here is right here. I think I got it in there now. Okay, looks good. So very simple to put in, not a big deal. We kind of thought that was what was going on, and it wasn't. So we changed that out. It was like a $50 part, not a big expense, but you know, we thought, hey, everyone on the internet seems to be having a problem with it, so that must be what's going on. It plugs in at this point right here. You just pop this panel off and plug it in here and put you some new cable ties up, and it's not a big deal. To get that in, you take a little scratch awl or a thin screwdriver, stick it in this hole that's in the very top. See if I can get it a little bit positioned. There's a very small hole right here, and turn this all the way, let's see, I think it's all the way forward, and then you just kind of push down on a pin. This whole cylinder will come out without having to disassemble this whole housing. So like I said, we went through all that. We put that starting box in. Nothing worked. We got down on the bottom. We actually tried to, what we like to use the terminology of a hammer start. We checked the starter itself. We hooked it up with a push button remote starter. Your starter is located right back in this area, and nothing would happen. So we thought, obviously it's the starter. We can't get the starter to fire bypassing all mechanisms straight to the starter itself. So I mean, there was some legitimate reasons behind it, because one of the things we did not check thoroughly, I will say, we checked it quickly and overlooked a big part of it, but that was this ground, the basic ground coming off of the battery. Rarely does this happen, but this ground goes straight down to the bottom of the engine block. And if you look right here, I'm not going to get the camera down there and all that and get the light on it, because you're smart enough to know that when I do that, you're going to go, oh, it's just a cable hooked to an engine block. How cool is that? Yeah. So that's where it goes, and it's down there, and it's hooked to a bolt with a little connector, of course, right to the engine block. Well, when we got down, we said, yeah, this is hooked up. Everything looks great. Well, it led us back to that after we went through all our troubleshooting. And at a closer inspection, I got down there and started wiggling it a little bit, and it would move just a touch. So with that being said, in the mornings when this thing was cold, you know, you've got expansion, contraction working at different times when the motor heats up and different things like that. So when the motor would heat up, it would expand and obviously lose a little bit of that connection in some way, shape, or form. So you would lose that ground. Losing the ground means you're losing your electrical loop to where your engine will not, well, let's just say the car, truck, whatever, will not recharge. And that in itself will make you think, oh, it must be the alternator not charging the battery up. Well, we pulled the alternator off, as you see right here. We had it tested. It's good. I haven't put it back on yet, because I'll probably do a video on how to do that. But back to the issue. Once I wiggle that wire down there, a lot of grease and debris on these old vehicles like this, you know, probably got some dirt or some sort of contaminant behind that connector in the block. And when it got really hot, it would work its way out, and we would lose that conductivity between that and the battery. If you do that, you will think your ignition has went out. You will think your alternator has went out. Your starter has went out. There's so much stuff in it. It's the most simple thing there is to have a ground off of your battery to your engine. Your engine is grounded as well. But your main ground loops back around to this battery. No matter what, it comes back. Everything will come back into this one connector. So, we feel kind of silly, but I just don't want anyone else to have to go through the added expense, the headache, and the troubleshooting without checking that first. Because we checked it. We looked down, we looked at the bolt, we even kind of wiggled it around, but we really didn't wiggle it hard enough. And by that, cost us several hours of troubleshooting, from electrical components in here, swapping relays around from your ignition relay, your starter relay. You know, a lot of these relays are interchangeable. We swapped them around, and like I said, we tested the alternator, we pulled the starter, ran the starter outside the car. Everything was great. We even got the new battery, and nothing was fixing it. So, don't overlook the obvious. And that is pretty much it for this video segment. If you have questions or comments, please contact us and let us know. But other than that, thanks again for tuning in, and we are just trying to help you not be a dummy like us. Have a good day.